We came back from the grocery store a few hours ago because starting tomorrow, Toya and her family are actually heading to Las Vegas. So I'm actually gonna be here all by myself. Hello everybody, I hope you guys are doing good today. Today I am here to give you my update as just what it has been for me living in LA for the past week. Yeah, this is vlog number 8 I believe, so I've been here for 7 complete days. Yeah, I started washing some clothes. They showed me how to use their washing machine. Oh, wait a minute, I got things over here. Yeah, I gotta say, this thing is pretty awesome. Excuse me if you don't mind, I'd like to talk to you while still taking care of my laundry. You know, it's all just socks. It really is just socks. So the first thing I'll go over is the weather. Now, I have to say this. I have spent my whole life on the East Coast, dominantly within the states of Maryland and Virginia. I have to say this, and like I said, this info is just for anybody. I don't know, if you're thinking about LA, you want to visit, you want to move, and I'm just telling you how it's been for me, or if you're just curious. A lot of people do say that the weather is hot here, and it can get hot. However, I feel like I am quite well equipped to deal with it. I dealt with really bad humidity in Virginia. I'm just gonna say Virginia. I don't know, it can be Maryland too, since they're like right next to each other, but I'll just say Virginia. It's come to the point where I think I can actually deal with heat. Like if it's just sunlight, I can deal with that, because, you know, I got my shades, I got my hat, and, you know, I'm pretty much good. Humidity, however, I cannot deal with. It feels like just this big, sweaty cloud just suffocating me. It's awful, and I had to deal with that almost every single day. And actually, some of you guys have told me where the temperature where you guys live. Y'all be telling me you be dealing with like 102 degrees and like all this other stuff. So if you guys wanted to visit LA or whatever, I definitely think that you know, you wouldn't even notice the heat. For people who do deal with I guess, like, you know, bad heat and temperature, I feel like you'll be good so long as you have some type of shades to cover your eyes because of the sun, because the sun is very bright and I have sensitive eyes. For some of you may want sunscreen. Sunscreen actually would help. And just something to keep you shaded and to stay hydrated. I realize I've been a lot thirstier lately, so I actually want to get a water bottle. Next thing I guess I can talk about is the people. Now, I haven't really interacted with that many people just yet, and by that I really do mean just people who I would like randomly meet and whatnot. Of course, I can't say a blanket statement for every human being living over here, and like I said, this is just my assessment over the past week. I have to say, so far, people seem quite friendly. Like, a little odd friendly. By odd friendly, I mean, I was in, okay, you know what? No, I gotta turn around for this one. So I was in the Starbucks, right? It was yesterday, actually. There are these two guys, like these two old guys, just sitting next to each other, you know, talking to one another. It's a very small and intimate Starbucks. So in this little row of seats, it's only 3 seats. They're taking up 2, and I take the one that's on the end. You know, I normally don't like to say this, but this is just so you can keep this story in perspective. I do have to say they were 2 old white guys, and that does play a part in this. One of the guys, he gets, I think, to go, you know, to buy something or buy something to drink. So it's just me and the other old guy. He looks at me like I'm minding my own business. I'm pulling out my stuff, I'm pulling out my laptop, getting it all together. He looks at me, and then he's just like, "You're not from around here, are you?" And I froze on the inside. I was like, ah! I was like, no, sir, I'm not. So I'm thinking like, okay, where is this gonna go? What's about to happen? But he was saying, he was like, yeah, I can tell. And I was like, dude. But it wasn't like that. He was saying, I guess, due to my mannerisms, I guess I seemed very stiff or shy, because I don't know, you know, being in like an unknown environment. During my whole time in that Starbucks, like those 2 dudes were actually there for a long time, and throughout the day, they were actually like talking to and saying hi to almost every single customer that walked in. So I think it was a mixture of them just being extremely social and actually just knowing the people who go in and out of that Starbucks. And I guess I was just somebody they had never seen before. But that was still quite weird. Dude was kind of nice. He seemed pretty nice. Like, he was like, where you from? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm from, the East Coast. He's like, oh, hey, yeah. Like, we were like chatting it up a little bit. Now, granted, like I said, I can't say for certain because, like I said, where I'm staying, I'm technically not living in Los Angeles. I'm living in California, but I'm living in another city right now that's nearby Los Angeles. So I guess this is more of a summary of just what I've gone through in California. Sorry if I seem a little low. Let me try to like heighten up. I keep on sinking down. Even my aunt said the same thing. She was like, when she moved out here, like I think they've been living out here for a year. She was like, when she moved out here, she was a little unaccustomed to, I guess, just people's just straight up kindness. Like she said, like they'll have like a conversation with you about the gum that you're looking at in the convenience store. So I have to say, and as far as the people goes, pretty much like people seem to be pretty darn good and nice. Like I said, there was that one time, like I said, where that guy, like I said, that fight had happened on the metro, but I mean, even the guy who broke up that fight, he still seemed like a pretty good guy. Like I said, this ain't no blanket statement for everybody who lives, within the state of California. I'm just telling you the experiences that I've had. Next thing that I like to talk about actually is the lifestyle. It's very different in some areas than how it was for me on the East Coast. One of the main ones is being what time people start going to work and what time they are back from work. For me on the East Coast, it was normal, I guess, for the average Joe to have a 9-to-5 job. That's 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's different here in California. What it is that people start earlier. Like their, I think typical job isn't from 9 to 5, it's from 7 to 3. That's because everybody's actually trying to beat the LA traffic. And I don't know, when they said that, like that makes a lot of sense because everybody's just trying to get to where they want to be. So most of the time people actually may get up at around like 5:30 or 6, and they may be at work at around like 6:30 or 7 o'clock. And then, they do their shift at like 3, and then they're like at the beach at like 5, but that, when it was like processed like that, that makes, sense. So people's, I guess, days tend to end at around maybe like 8 or 9 o'clock. Like, I think maybe like 10 or 11 o'clock is considered like late. At least I think. Like I said, I'm still kind of like getting a feel for it. With me, like my schedule was even more different because when I stopped working at that job that I had back in Virginia, most of the work that I did was just with, YouTube. I would actually start my day quite late. I would start at around like 3 or 4, and then I'd be done at around like 10 or 11. I don't know, I'm kind of like a night owl, so I would like just, I don't know, chill out, hang out like early in the morning, and then chill out, hang out like really late at night. It's been a bit of a shift. That, and with the 3-hour difference, like I said, I don't know what time it is right now. I think it may be like 4 or something. So that means technically for me, it's like 7 p.m. So I think I'm starting to adjust, but just know that time schedule, does exist. And I guess if you didn't want to try to work out here or, do something, you do have to think about that also. Another thing that I've noticed is the general pricing. I guess you could say the economic, I don't know how to use that word right, but basically just the general pricing of everything out here. It is just generally more expensive. I will probably be able to get a better quality apartment for $1,000 a month in the East Coast than I will here on the West Coast, because when I was out and about a couple days ago, I was actually in a neighborhood where I was seeing, okay, so these are, what the houses and apartments look like for, $1,000 a month. And not to like sound rude or whatever, but the neighborhood was quite run down. Like I wasn't really expecting that, like I said, from what I'm used to on the East Coast. So now I'm actually looking at other neighborhoods, so I'm more prepared that, okay, I just know, that's just the way it goes. Things are just, in terms of housing and whatnot, they're just going to be more expensive. I don't drive right now, but I can assume the same thing is for gas. You know what, and now that I think about it, I think there's one last thing that I just thought about. Something else that I've noticed. Okay, this is what I've been told by my aunt, and she says that the different areas in cities and whatnot in California, and like I said, everything that I'm saying, you could probably, use in any place in the world, but she says that different places have different vibes. Like I said, experienced that a little bit. Like I said, when I went to that neighborhood, everything felt more stress. It felt, I actually slightly didn't feel all that safe. It wasn't kind of like dangerous, but I'm thinking like if it was nighttime and I was walking home alone, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. Like I said, it wasn't like a completely, bad place to live, but still. People in general do seem more relaxed. And I do think that strongly has to deal with the amount of sun that people get and being by the water. Generally, most people associate, sun and water with vacation. And, in vacation, you relax, you're more chill. I think that is what I'm used to being on the East Coast, and this was something else that I thought about, and something else that, like I said, my aunt experienced. People on the East Coast I felt like people seem to be more stressed and uptight. Not to say that, like I said, that's everybody, but, like I said, if I was, I would hang out with my friends, I would be on the metro, and I'm like, I was, all over the place. And yeah, people seemed just a lot more stressed out. Like I said, I can't really say that one thing is better or the other. Because like I said, it's different for everybody. Some people may really like one side, and then, they just, they just prefer one side over the other. For me, personally, I have to say, for the time that I've been here, I have really enjoyed myself. Now, like I said, not everything is perfect. Like I said, I'm essentially here by myself. I do have, like I said, my aunt and, her family, but, literally all of my family and friends are on the other side of the country. Now, that hasn't really sunk in. It may not sink in, but I think that's just because I'm busy, trying to make stuff happen, do jobs and, find a place to stay. But that is something that I'm gonna have to do at one point, and that is, to make new friends and, just like make another clan of people, that I can be around. I do have to say I have been generally feeling more relaxed. I do like sun, and I do like water, and I do like being around that, constantly. I have to say, being over here in California, it is very scenic. There are actually a lot of rocky mountains. There's just, it's a variety, you'll see, houses on hills. Like I said, you'll see beautiful cliffs and, and that stuff I'm not used to seeing. Some of you, may see that all the time. But for me, being on the East Coast, it was just, I don't know, just regular. I just see buildings, I see houses, and I see street. That, just regular, stuff. But yeah, I'd have to say that's been my assessment of living out here. For me, like I said, my own experience so far. I know for a fact everybody's experience is different. So I know it is crucial for me to say that I know for a fact your experience is directly linked to how you make it for yourself. Like I said, just yesterday, I was starting to get pulled down under by the negativity of, I guess, the difficulty of trying to find a job. I'll be honest, I'm still not completely out of it. I'm a lot more out of it than yesterday, but, a piece of me still does feel a little bit irate about it, but, I'm trying not to, get caught up in that. I'm trying to, I guess, focus on, the sun and the water and, like I said, and staying, with my family. And also really just trying to focus as to where I'm going. As I said before, the day before I left to come out here, there are about 4 main things that I'm looking for. And that is, a job in television, a place to stay. I want to make, friends out here, but like I said, friends that, really do get me. Like my friend Isaiah, but, we can, go out and do stuff. Because that's another thing. There's a lot of things to do out here. Like I said, there's the beaches, there's, restaurants, there's lots of hotels, and just, other little activities that I don't even know about. And the last thing is, a girlfriend. Like I said, I'll talk about that at another time. But as I said before, it's been about like 4 years, since I've dated, and I did tell myself before I came out here that I wasn't going to try dating back in Virginia, because I knew I was going to be coming out of here, and I feel like it would have been awkward to, try to date somebody and they're like, oh, bye. Like, so, that is, something on my list. So those are like the 4 things that I'm, trying to do. And I have to say, things have been pretty good. I'm focusing, hard on the job. And then after the job, I'll focus, on the place to stay. And I don't know, maybe the friends and the girlfriend thing, they'll just kind of like weave their way into that. But yeah, I think that is about it. So I hope this little assessment was helpful for you. Or just, at the very least, interesting. Like I said, I've learned a lot, just being here for a week. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about out here. So if you guys, will want to travel out here, or just travel, just anywhere, I do advise it. It really can just open up your, horizon. Did I really say horizons? It'll really open up your horizons, because I've lived on the East Coast literally my whole life. Like I said, I only ever left the East Coast when I went to UCLA for 6 weeks, and that was an eye-opener. But yeah. Alright, so thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when my videos are going up. And you can show your support by donating to me in the links below, because I would greatly appreciate that. Alright, so thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you in the next one. See ya.